Hi guys, it's Chris with City Girl Homestead. So I'm trying to think along the lines of, no fear, saving money, things to do, little tidbits here and there. So then I got to thinking about, like we lost all of our garden space. So we're planting just very few things. But what happens if things really did get bad? And, you need to plant things in, like we do. In the backyard is mostly, shaded and things like that. And I'm like, if we really needed to plant a lot of food, we really can't. But I happened to find a video and some other investigations, and I'm going to tell you what I found. So now some of these actually, I am going to look into and see if a lot of them are like grow it and leave it things that, even me not being a gardener can do. So, and they are all perennial. So they will keep coming up year after year after year, and some of them will spread so much you have to control them. But the first one is called a Siberian pea shrub. You dry them like you would a legume. It helps regenerate your soil because, like they were saying in this article and whatever, if things get rough, your soil's going to get so used that it needs some nutrients to go back into it. So a lot of these plants that I'm mentioning will do just that. They'll help regenerate your soil. They grow 8 to 12 feet tall. They survive drought. They're good for feeding your animals, and you basically cannot kill it. So, they're pretty plants. So these ones you'll have to grab your paper and pencil and kind of investigate on what each one of them are. But that one sounded really, really cool too. Sea kale. It's low maintenance. Every section of it is edible depending on the time of the season. And it prefers neglect. And it lasts 10 to 15 years. So that one, I'm not a kale fan, but it's got where you can eat the bottom part, the top part, and then whatever. And depending on the season, and the taste will, vary from what parts of the plant that you eat. Jerusalem artichokes. Now here in the U.S., we call them sunchokes. They produce aggressively, and you can actually dig them up into the snow. And once you plant them, they last forever. And those are ones that'll basically take over. And they're kind of like a potato, but not as big. But the nutrients are like crazy on what you get out of those. One that I don't like and I won't be planting, asparagus. That lasts 20 plus years. Rhubarb, which I do have 3 plants, but I found out if you do it every 5 years, one plant can become 5. But you want to wait every 5 years. And you only process, 1/3 of the plant. Because I can remember my grandma's rhubarb would be like this big around. It was just huge. Mine aren't quite like that yet, but someday. And the thing about the leaves, they are poisonous. So, like I keep thinking we should plant them everywhere the woodchuck wants to go. But the plants are poisonous. But the good thing about it, and I did find this out a short time ago, you can take those leaves and you can put them around your other plants, and it helps to prevent weeds. And because they degrade so fast, they'll actually feed your dirt. So a lot of these will actually help rejuvenate your dirt and keep things, like if things really ever did hit real bad. And I didn't realize, but rhubarb is loaded with all kinds of vitamins. And you can actually dehydrate it too, which I might try some of that. The other thing is chives, because they'll just keep coming up. And, they are good for the bees as well too. And chives, like the guy was saying, is onion-like taste, so it flavors your food like crazy. And so I think that, and they're like indestructible too. And they are pretty when they come up. Perennial kale is another one. This one, Good King Henry, it actually outproduces spinach. I've never done good on spinach, so maybe that'd be something that would work for me. I'm not sure. Egyptian walking onions. They're self-propagating, and they're onions you never have to bury again. So what it is when the onion's on top, because you can actually eat the bulb too, and the stems, and the little onions on top. So what happens if you don't get to them? They bend over. The plant does. So what the plant does is grab onto that dirt and it plants itself again. So it'll keep self-propagating over and over and over again. So, and actually it's on my second list too. So must be it's a pretty good one. The next one is American, I can't even read my own writing, ground beet. It fixes the soil as well, and it has 15 to 17% protein, which in times of trouble, you're going to need that high protein. So, you know, I've been thinking about this. So, you know, a lot of these don't need light. A lot of them just likes to be ignored. Hey, I have a yard that all we can do is mow it, the patches that are back there, you know. Maybe that'd be something that, you know, I've got berries along the back of my fence now, and then along each side of my deck, I have those. But I still have a fence over here that's completely shaded. And then once we get the retaining wall rebuilt, we'll have a small area on this side. So, you know, maybe that's room enough to grow some of those things so that if things do get bad, you can still eat. Okay, now I got other plants that are like little to no work at all. You pretty much plant them, water them, and then just leave them be. Green onions is number one. And those ones, my daughter-in-law, she cuts them off all the time and then regrows them and does all that. So, yeah, she's got them year-round. Bush beans, they're pretty much plant it and leave them. Swiss chard, kale, I don't like either one, but okra, I don't mind it. I've tried it a couple of times. It's not my favorite, but I could eat it. Malabar spinach, cherry tomatoes, sweet potatoes, and I love sweet potatoes, collard greens, zucchini, and we all know that, man, one plant of zucchini and you're going to have zucchini all summer. Rosemary, mint, garlic chives, which those are the pretty ones. And then this one also has the Egyptian walking onions and asparagus. So the Egyptian walking onions, I might have to try those because it's on that list that you can't really destroy it. That's not a bad thing, right? I know plants that come in my house, I tell my kids, don't give me plants because they come in here to die. I do have a, what do they call that? A spider plant, but it's not growing much. We don't get a lot of sunlight in our house, just the way it's set up. So I finally had Tom put it on a holder and it gets a little bit of sun, but it's not growing that big. But that one, my son gave it to me because he said you can ignore it and it'll still live. But anyways, I know this series keeps doing this way and that way and whatever, but I'm thinking of different ways to A, save money, B, you know, survival things, you know, things that we can plant, things that we can do, whatever, without fear. Things that we can prepare for in the future. And today, you know, I keep watching, and I watch the channel that I'll watch once in a while, and they're in Michigan too, and to me, it's fear-mongering, and I don't like that. We have been through a lot in this country. You know, we've been through depressions and, you know, all different kinds of stuff we've been through, and we've always made it through. Was it easy? No, it wasn't. But, you know, there's got to be ways for us to save money and do things that are good for us for today, tomorrow, and next year, and the year after, and the year after. And so I hope this didn't throw it off too much, but I was watching them and then looking them up, and I thought, you know what? This is something that we could all try. And even if it's just in your pot on your patio, whatever it happens to be, there's things that we can grow that, if you're anything like me, I am definitely not a gardener. That's Tom's section. We do need to get out and weed though, but, you know, give a couple of them a try. I do want to try those walking onions because I do love onions. And if we could fill up that one whole side with walking onions, we'd never be out of onions. I would like that. So let me know if you like this one too. You know, I'll keep coming up with different ideas. But in the meantime, number one rule, no fear, none. I will keep coming up with money-saving ideas, money-saving tips, things that will help us in our kitchens or our gardens or whatever it is, that we'll get through this. You're not alone. We need you. We want you. We're all in it together, and we will make it. And somehow we will survive. And to the girl that said last night, she's an older lady, and she said, you know, keep coming up with these cheaper meals because she can only budget $30 a week. Now, I'm going to try to help with that. You know what I mean? Because I have done weeks where it was like I only spent 20 some dollars or whatever, because we all need to know where we can save money and still feed our families. And I know a lot of people will be like, well, that's not organic, but you need to look up your organics. Not all of them are so organic that you think. But, or if they're prepackaged or whatever. When it comes down to it, and if things get really, really rough, the main thing is making sure that you have protein and, you know, all these other different vitamins in your body. I don't care where you get it from. If you get it from a bag or, you know, something pre-made, whatever, or if you do everything by scratch. As long as you and your family are eating and flourishing and doing well, that's what counts. That's what counts. But I am trying to get away from some of that bagged up food and whatever, and I'm trying, but it's not going to happen overnight, and it probably will never be 100%. That's just how it is. So, yeah, it's been a busy morning. Took the grandkids to daycare, had to go to my annual appointment, and yeah, so now I'm going to go get the car washed because we're taking the kids Thursday, and we've got fingerprints all over the windows, and I'm sure they'd like to be able to see out of them. And I got them at 3 o'clock tomorrow morning. My son's schedule changed. But if you guys could all say a prayer. He has an interview today at 3:30 for a job that will have regular hours, regular days, so they don't have to do this 3 o'clock in the morning thing anymore. Bad thing is Grandma won't be involved as much because he'll be able to handle it on his own. That makes Grandma sad. But at the same time, it'd be nice to see my grandkids get up at the same time every day. My son, everything else, that would be wonderful. So give him a small prayer. He's the one that doesn't believe, but we can still pray anyway. So let me know if you like this one too. You guys have a blessed day. Be a blessing. And we got a new one for supper.